Hello and welcome to the San Francisco Waldorf School Winter Celebration, the very first of its kind. My name is Samantha Cosentino Baker, and I am the marketing director for the school. I am also in the parent community, as my daughter Penelope is in Ms. Shivishankar's fifth grade class. We're both happy and very grateful to be part of such a caring community, one that always makes the time for celebrations like this one. Tonight, while you were waiting for the show to begin, you heard music from our staff, students, and community. And we'll continue first with performances from grade school students and parents and a special puppet show by the teachers. Our music teacher, Philip Greenleaf, will introduce the second part of the evening that will showcase classical, folk, and popular music and solo, duo, and ensemble pieces with high school students. You'll enjoy a photographic journey through the past few months, and there will be more holiday songs from our community members as well. I'd like to extend a heartfelt thank you to everyone who contributed to make this event possible. I believe it is this sharing and this coming together, however we can, that truly makes the season bright. Thank you and enjoy the show.
Ready, go.
My name is Valeria and I'm gonna play Imagine.
Puppet show is starting. A shoemaker, by no fault of his own, had become so poor that at last he had nothing left but leather for one pair of shoes. So, in the evening, he cut out the shoes which he wished to begin to make the next morning. And as he had a good conscience, he lay down quietly in his bed, commended himself to God, and fell asleep. In the morning, after he had said his prayers and was just going to sit down to work, the two shoes stood quite finished on his table. He was astounded and knew not what to think. He took the shoes in his hands to observe them closer. They were so neatly made, with not one bad stitch in them. that it was just as if they were intended as a masterpiece. Before long, a buyer came in, and as the shoes pleased him so well, he paid more for them than was customary. And with the money, the shoemaker was able to purchase leather for 2 pairs of shoes. He cut them out at night, and next morning was about to set to work. Oh, he had fresh courage, but he had no need to do so, for when he got up, the shoes were already made, and now many, many, many buyers came. They all wanted to have this skillfully sewn and stitched and hammered shoes. And so it went on and on, on and on. What he cut out in the evening was finished by the morning, so that he soon had his honest independence again, and at last became a wealthy, wealthy man. Now, one evening, not long before Christmas, when it was snowing lightly and the flakes danced in the blue sky, the shoemaker said to his wife before going to bed, "Wife, what do you think if we were to stay up tonight and see who it is that lends us this helping hand?" Oh, the woman liked the idea. She went to light a candle. And once this candle was lit, the shoemaker and his wife hid in a corner of the room and watched. When it was midnight, pretty little naked man came. They sat down by the shoemaker's table, took all the work which was cut out before them, and began to stitch and sew, and hammer. And they hammered so skillfully and so quickly with their little fingers that the shoemaker could not avert his eyes for astonishment. They did not stop until all was done and stood finished on the table. And then they ran quickly away. Next morning, the shoemaker's wife said, "Husband, these little men have made us rich, and we really must show that we are grateful for it. Look at them, they run about so, and have nothing on, and they must be cold. I'll tell you what I'll do. I will make them little shirts, little coats, little vests, and little trousers, and knit both of them a pair of stockings. And you, husband, you make them 2 little pairs of shoes." The shoemaker said, "Oh, I shall be very glad to do it." And one night, when everything was ready, they laid their presents all together on the table instead of the cut-out work, and then hid themselves again to see how the little men would behave. At midnight, they came bounding in and wanted to get ready to work. But as they did not find any leather cut out, but only the pretty little articles of clothing, they were at first astonished, and then they showed their intense delight. They dressed themselves with the greatest rapidity, put on the beautiful clothes, and sang, "Now we are boys too fine to see, why should we longer cobblers be? Now we are boys so fine to see, why should we longer cobblers be?" Ha ha! Then they danced and skipped and leaped over chairs and benches. At last, they danced out of doors. From that time forth, they came no more. But as long as the shoemaker lived, all went well with him, and all his efforts prospered.
I'd like to share a story with you. It's The Man from Snowy River by A.B. Patterson, illustrated by Freya Blackwood. There was movement at the station, for the word had passed around that the colt from Old Regret had got away and had joined the wild bush horses. He was worth £1,000, so all the cracks had gathered to the fray. All the tried and noted riders from the stations near and far had mustered at the homestead overnight, for the bushmen love hard riding where the wild bush horses are, and the stock horse snuffs the battle with delight. There was Harrison, who made his pile when Pardon won the cup, the old man with his hair as white as snow, but few could ride beside him when his blood was fairly up. He could go wherever horse and man could go. And Clancy of the Overflow came down to lend a hand. No better horseman ever held the reins, for never horse could throw him while the saddle girths would stand. He learned to ride while droving on the plains. And one was there, a stripling on a small and weedy beast. He was something like a racehorse undersized, with a touch of Timor pony, 3 parts thoroughbred at least, and such as are by mountain horsemen prized. He was hard and tough and wiry, just the sort that won't say die. There was courage in his quick, impatient tread, and he bore the badge of gameness in his bright and fiery eye, and the proud and lofty carriage of his head. But still, so slight and weedy, one would doubt his power to stay, and the old man said, "That horse will never do for a long and tiring gallop. Lad, you'd better stop away. Those hills are far too rough for such as you." So he waited, sad and wistful. Only Clancy stood his friend. "I think we ought to let him come," he said. "I warrant he'll be with us when he's wanted at the end, for both his horse and he are mountain bred." He hails from Snowy River, up by Kosciuszko side, where the hills are twice as steep and twice as rough, where a horse's hoofs strike firelight from the flint stones every stride. The man that holds his own is good enough. And the Snowy River riders on the mountains make their home, where the river runs those giant hills between. I have seen full many horsemen since I first commenced to roam, but nowhere yet such horsemen have I seen. So he went. They found the horses by the big mimosa clump. They raced away towards the mountain's brow, and the old man gave his orders. "Boys, go at him from the jump. No use to try for fancy riding now. And Clancy, you must wheel them. Try and wheel them to the right. Ride boldly, lad, and never fear the spills. For never yet was rider that could keep the mob in sight if once they gained the shelter of those hills." So Clancy rode to wheel them. He was racing on the wing where the best and boldest riders take their place, and he raced his stock horse past them, and he made the rangers ring with his stock whip as he met them face to face. Then they halted for a moment while he swung the dreaded lash, but they saw their well-loved mountain full in view, and they charged beneath the stock whip with a sharp and sudden dash, and off into the mountain scrub they flew. Then fast the horsemen followed, where the gorges deep and black resounded to the thunder of their tread, and the stock whips woke the echoes, and they fiercely answered back from cliffs and crags that beetled overhead. And upward, ever upward, the wild horses held their way, where the mountain ash and Kurrajong grew wide, and the old man muttered fiercely, "We may bid the mob good day. No man could hold them down the other side." When they reached the mountain's summit, even Clancy took a pull. It might well make the boldest hold their breath. The wild hop scrub grew thickly, and the hidden ground was full of wombat holes, and any slip was death. But the man from Snowy River let the pony have his head, and he swung his stock whip round and gave a cheer, and he raced him down the mountain like a torrent down its bed, while the others stood and watched in very fear. He sent the flint stones flying, but the pony kept his feet. He cleared the fallen timber in his stride, and the man from Snowy River never shifted in his seat. It was grand to see that mountain horseman ride through the stringy barks and saplings on the rough and broken ground. Down the hillside at a racing pace he went, and he never drew the bridle till he landed safe and sound at the bottom of that terrible descent. He was right among the horses as they climbed the further hill, and the watchers on the mountain standing mute saw him ply the stock whip fiercely. He was right among them still as he raced across the clearing in pursuit. Then they lost him for a moment where two mountain gullies met in the ranges, but a final glimpse reveals on a dim and distant hillside the wild horses riding yet with the man from Snowy River at their heels. And he ran them single-handed till their sides were white with foam. He followed like a bloodhound on their track till they halted cowed and beaten. Then he turned their heads for home and alone and unassisted brought them back. But his hardy mountain pony, he could scarcely raise a trot. He was blood from hip to shoulder from the spur, but his pluck was still undaunted and his courage fiery hot, for never yet was mountain horse a cur. And down by Kosciuszko, where the pine-clad ridges raise their torn and rugged battlements on high, where the air is clear as crystal and the white stars fairly blaze at midnight in the cold and frosty sky, and where, around the overflow, the reed beds sweep and sway to the breezes and the rolling plains are wide, the man from Snowy River is a household word today, and the stockmen tell the story of his ride.
Hi, my name is Alina, and I am going to be playing Song of the Wind.
Good evening and welcome to the San Francisco Waldorf 2020 virtual winter concert. Just going to start by thanking Mitch for putting all these materials together. Thank you so much. Couldn't do it without you, really, literally. And also want to say hello to all the faculty and staff that's here. It's great being part of this school. I've been here 14 or 15 years. I can never seem to remember how long, but it's been a wonderful journey. I've never felt so cared for and supported in my 32 years of teaching music. I'm going to talk a little bit about the staff because they're amazing folks. Four of us, David Boyce, Carl Evangelista, Robert Lopez, and myself, we're all professional musicians. We've been involved in all kinds of ways that you can make music, whether it's composing, improvising, recording, performing, touring. And also, most of us have been involved in, a lot of community engagement, putting on concert series, supporting the community in lots of different ways. So I say that because, the folks that are looking after the students with music here are, they really see all the different angles of how music is made and how it's conceived. And so I think we're able to serve a really diverse group of young musicians, whether you're looking at the big groups that we work with or knowing how to zero in and give an individual player support, because we've all been band leaders. We've all had to coach people. So I'll say that. And then there's David Weber, who's the best director I've ever worked with. He's so caring and supporting. His choir sounds amazing every year, which is no mean feat when you have teenage voices in particular that are changing, they're always in tune. The phrasing is just, it's delicious music. Back to Carl. I really don't understand how he can work with 25 or 30, young musicians in the guitar classes. The guitar is probably the most popular instrument in American music culture, so those classes are always full to the brim. And, that's that's a lot of fingers to be to be looking after, and he does a great job. You'll hear the work that they're doing, and he's also been behind the scenes helping some of us, with the recordings and putting that all together and making it sound good. Robert Lopez is a wonder. He joined us 3 years ago, I think, and I remember that first Stern Grove performance where he only had like 3 weeks to present something, and I'll tell you that show it just cinched it for me. I said, wow, these kids are in great hands. There was a newfound subtlety to the listening and to all these little details in that performance that just blew me away. He does great work. Then there's David Boyce, dear friend of mine that I've been playing with for a long time. This guy has an encyclopedic knowledge of music. He's funny. His lectures are hilarious. Yes, he goes off topic, but he talks about stuff that the kids are, from what I understand, what I've heard from the students, are fascinating. I just know he's one of the people that I love talking about music with more than probably anybody. And if I could say a few words about my own classes, I think since the pandemic has, hit, for me personally, practicing, researching, composing, recording, that's what I've been focused on. So I think this semester, that's what I tried to get my musicians to focus on. Three-pronged approach, if you like, practicing basic skills that every musician needs to know, doing research by listening to music examples and writing critically about them, expanding your concept of what music is and what it can do, and then just, working with your partner or alone, which I felt like was the best way to do it, to have deepen the sense of community by linking up with another person and encouraging each other, because it's kind of missing in this situation that we're in, the social element. Anyway, I hope you enjoy what you hear tonight. Happy holidays to all of you, and however you celebrate them. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. I hope you have a good evening. Take care.
I could offer you a warm embrace to make you feel my love. When the evening shadows and the stars appear, and there is no one there to dry your tears, I could hold you for a million years to make you feel my love. I know you haven't made your mind up yet, but I would never do you wrong. I've known it from the moment that we met. No doubt in my mind where you belong. I'd go hungry, I'd go black and blue, and I'd go crawling down the avenue. No, there's nothing that I wouldn't do to make you feel my love. The storms are raging on the rolling sea and on the highway of regret. The winds of change are throwing wild and free. You ain't seen nothing like me yet. I could make you happy, make your dreams come true. Nothing that I wouldn't do. Go to the ends of the earth for you to make you feel my love. To make you feel my love.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotah, v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Hanukkah. Happy Hanukkah! 1, 2, 1, 2. It's still light of mine, but I'm gonna let it shine. It's still light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. It's still light of mine, but I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, but I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, but I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Come on, Ashley.
Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Wonders are many, but none so wonderful as man. The churning gray sea blasted by the winter storm, he courses in unwavering line. The earth, immortal, ancient, inexhaustible, he bears down upon, drawing plows in a bright furrow, year after year, harnessed with the might of stallions. The flighty, small-boned birds he catches, fierce beasts and teeming creatures of the sea are his, snared in the coils of his brilliant nets. The wiles of his mind tame all the prey that climb the cliffs or lurk in lairs, mastering the stamping stallion or breaking the heaving shoulders of the mountain bull. Language, thought itself, swifter than the wind he's mastered, the laws of men and how to govern cities. Sheltered from the shooting arrows of the snow or lashing whips of winter rain. Everything he's conquered with his resources, century after century, except one thing, death. From death he has found no escape. The cunning of the human mind can lead to prosperity, can lead to disaster. When humans respect the laws of the gods, the state is secure. Those prideful ones, who follow their own will away from what is right, have no place in this state. May it never be my misfortune to share my house with such a one.
Donkey Doodle by William Kroll.
Yuletide gay. From now on, our troubles will be miles away. Here we are, rosy golden days, happy golden days of yore. Faithful friends who are dear to us, gather near to us once more. Through the years, we all will be together, if the fates allow. Hang a shining star upon the highest bough, and have yourself a merry little Christmas now. Merry Christmas. Merry, Merry Christmas. Have yourself a merry little Christmas now. Happy holidays.
Hi, everybody. I'm Mitch Mitchell, the Advancement Director at San Francisco Waldorf School, and I hope you've enjoyed our show. I am always amazed by the work of our students and our faculty and our parents. We really do hope you enjoyed it. Today I was at the high school helping the faculty with a celebration for the students, socially distanced, of course, and it was really great seeing the kids and giving them a little intro to the Bushnell Center. And I think what struck me the most is how excited they were to see their friends and other pods and wave from a distance, and it was really wonderful. And at the same time at the grade school, they were doing Garden of Light. This whole month, the faculty have put in a lot of work to try to bring some of the seasonal celebration to the students. I know that it's been hard and it's been a lot of work for everyone. I really thank everyone who's done that, and also you, the parents, who decorated your houses. We had a winter journey that, I think maybe that's something that we can continue in the years to come. For those who don't know, I've been in the community for 16 years. My son is a senior this year, and I just wanted to share my thanks with all of the faculty who've touched his life. I envy those who have young children because you have many years to look forward to it. These teachers and the staff really do love the children. I think that you know that, and your fellow parents love the children. We're a great community. We've had really great times. I mean, we built some new nurseries, expanded that program. We have expanded high school. We have a new Bushnell Center that we're going to be moving into in January. Everything is great, and we've also, as a community, suffered loss over the years. I've unfortunately, seen community members pass away all too soon, and the one thing that strikes me about this community is really how close we are, and how much we are there for each other. So, please, let's all keep our heads up and keep going. We do come together. And with that, I want to also thank the board. If you haven't seen, they've extended a match to our community fund for this year, a $100,000 match. That's double what they gave last year, so they are really stepping up for us. And I want to thank them for leading by example, and for you, the community, you guys have also stepped up. community funding, is so integral to the work we do every year and any regular year, and this year is even more. So I want to share some good news that as of today, we're over 60,000 towards our match, and so it's going well. I'm excited that those who can, are giving, and everybody's giving at different levels. We're getting gifts of $10 and $100 and $10,000. So it's really everywhere, and all with really the best hope for our community. You're probably going to be hearing from me over the break, and if you don't want to, just everybody go to sfwaldorf.gov tonight, and we can end that, and we'll all have a restful break. You can go to sfwaldorf.gov or send a check in the mail to either the high school or the grade school. I guess that's it. I want to just give a really special thanks to Sam Baker, who helped produce the show tonight. It really was her work and all of the students and all the parents and all the faculty who put this together. And so to end, we have one last performance, and that last performance is the high school beginning guitar group with an appropriate 2020 anthem. So thank you, and have a great holiday,